You keep falling for the same kind of person, different face, same ending, and some quiet part of you saw it coming. That is the strange thing about relationship psychology. You think you choose who you love. You don't. Something older chooses first. They call it your attachment style. A map drawn before you could speak. That map decides who feels like home. And here is the part that stings. Home was never the same thing as safe. You learn to call the ache love, and you have been loyal to that ache since. Think about the last person you couldn't let go of, not the kindest one. The one who kept you guessing. You checked your phone before your eyes were fully opened. You told yourself it was love if your body called it a threat. Two different signals, one person. That gap has a name. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. There are 4 ways a human learns to love. Not 4 personalities, 4 survival strategies. Each one made perfect sense to a child. Each one quietly runs your love life now. The first one barely makes a sound. The secure one. They love without flinching. They come close, then give space and stay steady through both. No games, no cold silences, no test you have to pass to be kept. They say what they feel plainly. They apologize without it becoming a war. Watch them in a disagreement sometime. They stay in the room. They don't punish. They don't vanish. They want to close the gap, not win it. And if that sounds a little boring to you, sit with that for a second. Because boring is to a nervous heart is just another word for unfamiliar. Then there is the one who feels everything twice. The anxious one. Maybe you know this one from the inside. One unanswered message, and the story begins. They're pulling away. I did something wrong. I'm too much again. You reread your last text like evidence. You draft a message. Delete it. Draft it again. You wait for 3 dots to appear, then vanish. And the silence writes a story you never agreed to. You soften your needs so nobody feels their weight. You call it being easygoing, yet it's being afraid. Love for you feels like holding your breath underwater, and you would rather ache beside them than breathe alone. And I wonder where this is finding you tonight. Someone is his on a late train in Germany. Someone on a warm night in Brazil. Someone in a small kitchen in the Philippines. And I'm honestly curious which country you're watching sing from, because this seems to cross every border. Because the anxious heart always has a partner, it hunts for its exact opposite. The avoidant one. The person who pulls back the second things get real. They chased you at first. They seemed sure. Then you got close, and they cooled. You felt a door close somewhere you couldn't see. You asked what changed. They said nothing was wrong. They aren't cruel. They learned early that needing people costs too much. So they leave a little before they can be left. A trip, a busy week, a wall made of politeness. They say they just need a little space. And space from them always sounds like an ending you give it. And the distance quietly grows teeth. And here is where 2 maps collide. The anxious one reaches. The avoidant one retreats. And each one proves this oldest fear true. You reach harder. They step back further. It feels like passion. It's really 2 wounds having a conversation. That fire you can't explain? That's the trap, not the love. You call it chemistry. It's really recognition. You mistake the intensity for depth. But intensity is just your nervous system ringing an old alarm. So let me ask you something you have actually lived. When they go quiet and distant, what do? Chase or wait? One word. Write it below, because your answer isn't just a habit. It's the map showing its hand. There is a 4th one. The quietest of the 4. The one who wants love and fears it in the same breath. Come closer. Wait, not that close. They pull you in with everything they have, then panic the moment it starts to feel real. Not to play games, to survive something they never named. Love once with a sting they couldn't explain. So closeness feels like a warm room with no door out. They test you, then hate that they tested you. They crave the very thing that scares them most. And here is something stranger still. These styles are not fixed labels. The anxious one can go quiet once they finally feel safe. The avoidant one can cling once they sense you leaving. You are not one box. You are a pattern under pressure. The fear just wears whichever mask keeps love at a distance. None of this began in your dating life. It began in a house, in a crib, in 1,000 small moments. Did crying bring warm arms or an empty room? Did closeness feel safe or did it feel risky? You answered those questions before you had words, and you have been answering them the same way ever since. The child learned. The adult repeats. A small child cannot leave, so they adapt instead. They become what love seemed to require. Here is the twist almost nobody says out loud. You are not drawn to the person who feels good. You are drawn to the person who feels familiar. If love once meant waiting, calm love feels wrong. If closeness once meant too much, distance feels like relief. If care once came with conditions, kindness feels suspicious. Your type was never really attractions. It's a memory wearing a brand new face. That is why the good ones felt flat, and the wrong ones felt like lightning. So read your own history like a detective now. The same argument in every relationship. The same ache, wearing different names. The same moment where it always falls apart. Line up your past like photographs. The chase in one, the wall in another. The same knot in your stomach each time. That is not bad luck following you around. That is one pattern asking to finally be seen. And a pattern you can see is a pattern you can loosen. Here is the part that gives a little peace. Your style is not a life sentence. It's a starting point, nothing more. There is a name for the change, earned security. It doesn't arrive in a weekend. It grows slowly, often beside one steady person. It looks unremarkable from the outside. Two people choosing to stay again. Someone who stays when your old maps swears they'll run. Every calm return teaches your body a new ending. Each time you brace for the worst and get warmth instead, one line gets rewritten. You are not broken, you were taught. And anything taught can be taught again. So catch the pull before you obey it. The urge to chase, the urge to disappear. That tiny pause, that half second is where freedom lives. Picture them, Sumit, you feel them slipping, your chest tightens, your thumb finds the phones. That is the exact second to stop. You don't have to win over the one who keeps you guessing. You don't have to run when someone stays. Familiar is not the same as right. Say it twice tonight. The nervous system whispers danger. You get to whisper back. Notice how quickly you explain away calm people. Too nice. No spark. Something must be missing. That story is the map talking, not the truth. The person who finally feels like peace might feel like nothing at first. No spark, no spiral. Just quiet. And quiet, to a heart raised on chaos, can feel like the absence of love. But maybe that stillness was the real thing all along. Maybe love was never meant to feel like a storm you survive. Maybe it was meant to feel like a place you can finally set the weight down. The right person may not make your heart race. They may just let it finally rest. You didn't choose the map, but you get to redraw it. Slowly, one steady goodbye that turns into a hello. I keep coming back to one question. If love finally felt safe, would you recognize it or call it boring and leave?